All right, so what's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. It's your man, Simon Hill, right here with my beautiful wife, Acti. Say hi, boo.
Hi, everyone.
You look more beautiful every day.
Aw, don't lie.
You look great. Do I look good with no shave, or should I grow my hair back?
I like a little bit like facial hair, honestly, Simon. But you look good anyways.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, so I just came here to chop it up with my wife about this funny news story that came across, and I think we might disagree about this. And usually I stay away from like celebrity gossip and stuff like that. But it's two funny stories that I think are worth discussion because they're interesting in their own rights. So the first one is about Gwyneth Paltrow, and she basically said that white women should learn from black women when it comes to self-love and stuff like that. And that's just a crazy title. Like I did not expect that to come across my feed. It made me question like how to feel about this. But I don't know. What's your reaction to that story?
God, I don't know. I feel like she's just unnecessary, and that's an unnecessary comment because, like, I don't know if we're gonna read the articles, but she says like, white women are taught to be competitive with each other, like black women are not. All women doesn't matter like wherever you are in the world, you're always competing against one each other because that's what the patriarchy wants. And
Mm,
plus, at the same time, black women also have to compete with white women because
mm-hmm,
white supremacist beauty standards. So
mm.
it just feels very cringe that she's saying that. Like, there's nothing wrong with what she's saying, but I just feel like it's unnecessary.
Unnecessary a bit. I feel like it is necessary. We might disagree, but I would like for you to read the article if you can, because I'm gonna jump on the Terrence Howard story after this. But read that article and then we'll break it down. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is on TMZ, and Gwyneth Paltrow says white women learn from black women when it comes to self-love. Gwyneth Paltrow is kicking off Women's History Month with a teachable moment, imploring white women to emulate black women's approach to self-love, but her message is hitting a lot of people as tone deaf. The Oscar winner shared her opinion Thursday while appearing alongside Dr. Bella Bell at the Makers Conference in Beverly Hills, with the Goop founder praising her black gal pals for having an incredible intrinsic self-honoring. What does that even mean?
Wait. Now that you brought up Goop, it just made me realize, is that company still around? Like you and I, we used to watch that show she did on Netflix, like Goop, and she was making people like finger themselves in public and like have like sex tantric messages in front of people and stuff like that. Wild stuff. Is she still doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just like a marketing approach for her Goop thingy, but I think it's still around and it's selling probably like, some self-care things, maybe vibrators, some candles, I don't know, like vajacials.
The J shows, the J shows. It's such a wild show. If you never got the chance to watch Goop on Netflix, I believe my wife and I watched like 2 or 3 episodes, and they were just wild. They were making people like try out sex toys with their husbands and wife while another person watches. Like Gwyneth Paltrow's in the room, like, how is that vibrator working for you? And like people getting fingered by like professional masseuses and stuff like that. Absolutely insane stuff. Is it like a sex toy company? What is it actually about?
I don't even know. Like, I think they do like just all sorts of self-care things. It says a modern lifestyle brand. And
Mm.
cutting edge wellness advice from doctors, vetted travel recommendations, and a curated shop of clean beauty, fashion, and home.
I think that's wild. I think you know what's making Gwyneth Paltrow talk like this about black women is that we've been hearing Rihanna is a billionaire for a long time, but Gwyneth's name ain't brought up. So maybe she's a bit jealous. Rihanna got her money up, and she's trying to be like, I maybe should practice that self love Rihanna's talking about. I want to be bad. I need to be a bad gal, stuff like that. I don't know. Can,
I don't know what she's talking about. Like, of course, there are like confident black women, and of course, there are confident white women. Like, all women have insecurities. All women at times, feel confident or seem confident. And it's just like a weird generalization to make, I feel like. I don't know.
I don't know. I might disagree, but go ahead. Continue with the article. Can you?
She added, it's like from the deepest part of their souls all the way to the tips of their fingers. Feel the cringe begin. According to Gwyneth, her black woman friends know themselves, love themselves in a way that I think white women are not taught to. I think white women are taught to be competitive with one another, she added, which is something I've tried to work on so hard to dispel because I don't believe in competition between women, but we're raised to be competitive, to be jealous, to look over each other's shoulders.
All right, all right. Hold on. Let me just say something. By the way, Mad Villainy jumped into the chat. He said, what up, Mad Villainy?" This is what I'm gonna say. I think people want to cringe at this because Gwyneth Paltrow comes across like as a very entitled, rich, privileged white woman, right? And so when they hear a white woman talking like this about black women, it feels like she's doing like that stereotype, like black women are strong and almost masculine in how they just, and also like magical, as if we're not human beings, right? So it can be interpreted as that. But I don't know. How do you see it? Why do you find this so yucky?
Because I think when you think about like woman in that way, like self confidence in women, I don't think there is a lot to I don't think there's a lot of difference when it comes to race, honestly, because like I said, like every woman has insecurities and some women are more confident in themselves, and I don't think that's necessarily like, you know, I don't think you can say like, oh, black women are more confident or white women are more confident or whatever. I don't think you can really say that because there's just like all types of women in both like races or communities. So
Hmm.
that's just like once again unnecessary.
These are moments where I'm so glad to have a white wife. Guys, I got a white wife in case you can't tell. And I'm so glad my wife is white. No, I'm glad I have a wife. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But moments like these make me glad to have a wife who comes from a different tradition, not just for the fact she has that different tradition, but for the fact that she can give a different perspective on this, right? And I find this interesting because I don't think Gwyneth Paltrow is coming at this saying like, oh, black women are just naturally more confident. But I think she's talking about the practice that most black people have to survive in this world, where we have to love ourselves in a radical way. Like we walk outside and the world might view us as X, Y, and Z. And therefore, we have to look inside ourselves and look at each other and have that self love. And maybe that's lacking for other groups of people because they don't go through the same struggles we go through.
Okay, I 100% get that. But if you're going to talk about that, then talk about like what the society does that it is like that, because if you only say to one group or one person, you're strong, oh you're so strong, you're just very self-confident, then you don't really give that group or person a place to be vulnerable, a place to be weak, and just like you said, everyone is human. So
Hmm.
none of us are superheroes. So
Hmm.
if you're going to talk about that, then also talk like what causes them to be so strong.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you just ignore that part and then go straight to the part where, oh, you're so strong, then like you're not really solving the problem. I feel
Right,
like.
right. I mean, that was one of the first like real deep conversations we had because I think when we first started dating, we were talking about positive racism, right? There's certain stereotypes people have about certain groups of people that might seem positive, right? Like being X, Y, and Z, right? And so that sort of positive racism that maybe Gwyneth Paltrow is saying about black women might be a negative thing for exactly that reason, right? Why are black women perceived to be strong? Why do they have to consistently show being strong? Well, it's because they live in a world that's antagonistic to them, right? And
Yeah.
I think on one hand, it is playing into that stereotype, but on another hand, I think there is positivity in that. Like I could say positive things about Turkish culture, and I think a lot of that has to do with your history. And I don't think that would come across as me stereotyping all of your people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
So
at the same time she's kind of downplaying the privileges of being a white woman. I'm sorry, but I feel like she does, because she's sort of like in this sentence she's saying like white women are taught to be competitive, like Yeah, all women are taught to be competitive. So, like, I don't know. It
I got
feels
you.
that, even if it's not where she's coming from.
I got you. I got you. Let's continue with the story because there's more to break down here.
Okay. GP declared that it isn't that way in her circle of black women. And she continued, I've learned so much from my black friends about ruthless self acceptance and full love of self. She went on to suggest white women can learn from our black sisters and the way in which they respect themselves. Gwyneth had a direct message for those listening. Keeping white women at odds with each other, in competition with one another, keeps the patriarchy strong. She added, you don't have to get less because somebody is going to get more. While Lifestyle Guru likely intended for these words to be uplifting on the final day of Black History Month, mind you, some people think she flat out missed the mark, especially with the African American community.
I'm gonna say this. I'm jumping out there. She said absolutely nothing wrong, and I think this is something that I think a lot of white people do whenever they see a prominent white person or any white person extend their hand out to the black community and acknowledge good things about the black community. The TMZ is a white company, right? They're going to try to make that person seem cringe, ew, yucky. What do you want to be down? What you want to be down with the homies, Gwyneth Paltrow? You think you're so cool because you're so woke and open-minded, stuff like that. I feel like this is the white community attacking them, and I feel like what she is saying that it's very hard to get anybody outside of us to acknowledge positive things about black society, black culture, and black life. And what she is acknowledging is one true facet that most white people have not realized. Black people have to have radical self-love to survive. And her talking about this, I feel like is a beautiful thing. Honestly, I can't hate on this at all.
Okay, I mean, I'm not saying that she said anything wrong. Like, I don't think she's a racist person or she said something racist. But once again, I just think like separating women like that, I feel like is sort of unnecessary when we're talking about patriarchy. And if you're going to do that separation, then you have to go deeper into the reasons why it's like that. In my opinion, it just feels like a little bit left out of context. But I don't know, like you are the one who's black, so maybe I'm like judging her because I'm white.
I might be black, but I'm not a woman, right? And what she's really trying to get at here is that women can learn a lot from what black women had to go
Yeah,
through. You know what I mean? And you're talking about how women are meant to be competitive, right? And stuff like that. And that's
yeah,
something, for me as a we are supposed to be competitive. That's all about, a big part of masculinity. But a big part of femininity too is competitiveness in a different way, right? Maybe being catty, maybe trying to bring other people down, that sort of stuff. I don't mean to be sexist by saying that. That's not what I mean, but it's a different sort of competitiveness. Men's competitiveness is I'm going to beat you in sports or something like that, or I'm going to take over your country. And maybe women's competitiveness is, who can I, how can I get the most boys to like me or something like that? I don't know. I might be coming across very tone deaf here, but maybe you can talk about it more.
no, that's true. I mean, that's not how we want to think about, or like if you're a feminist, or if you do care about like just women rights in general, that's not how we want to think, but we are like trained to think that way because of the things that the society penetrates on our brain, basically.
Mm.
But once again, I think like a few additional sentences would clear this even more, and it would be like really perfect. But I just feel like it's a bit weird.
I feel like it's weird because, like you said, she's missing those few extra sentences. So if she said there is this sort of radical black love, it would be great if Gwyneth also said, and that's because of the white supremacy that has consistently permeated in our society, which
Yeah,
a lot of white women have participated in. Us
yeah,
as women, even if we're feminists, we say we want the best for women. A lot of us throughout history have marginalized black women in the fight for, equal rights for women, right? If she added that part, that would be fantastic. But because she missed that part, it's sort of weird. By the way, whoever's sending the hearts, thank you. I think that's the first time I got hearts while I started talking.
the parts, but you never.
What'd you say?
I always send you hearts, but you don't see mine.
Oh, I never see them. Sorry, but I'm doing live streams on the phone, so I see them. But that's what I think. That's what I think. I think the idea that talking about how Black women are without the context is not you know helpful for the conversation, and it makes
Yeah.
the conversation seem tone deaf because then people can interpret it. But you got to add that sort of those extra sentences. You get what I mean?
And that's all I was saying. But shut up.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Scores of online comments are ripping Gwyneth for being blind to the fact Black women are commonly pitted against each other in pop culture and American society at large. Just a few high profile examples: Nicki Minaj is currently beefing with Megan Thee Stallion and has previously feuded with Cardi B. Fellow rising stars Ice Spice and Lotto are also taking subtle shots at each other. Maybe Gwyneth isn't plugged in with the female hip hop scene, but she might want to reward that message.
See, this is why I really dislike this article because you're relegating Black people to a few rappers.
Yeah.
That's hella racist. That's more racist than what Gwyneth Paltrow said. So TMZ says, Black people don't always get along because Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion are having a twerking battle. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Are you serious?
It's bad. It's like the only thing that Gwyneth has to do to relate to Black women is just follow up on Black rappers who are women.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah, this article just went okay to being racist.
right, right. And then the thing is, they're going to say scores of people online. They're talking about like 15 people on Twitter. That's it. Like, you get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, this is the reason why I show my face and I talk openly about these topics because I want y'all to know I am Black. This don't rub off. And me as a Black person, I don't find anything wrong with what Gwyneth said. Now, I have to give some background. A few years ago, there was one of my favorite rappers, Nas. He did one of the craziest things. He gave an interview and they asked him about his neighbor who happened to be Gwyneth Paltrow. And Nas said, Gwyneth Paltrow, that's my nigga. She's the homie. She's down. So then people were like, what, Nas? and Gwyneth Paltrow was like, what? And Nas was like, Gwyneth Paltrow can say nigga. I was like, whoa, whoa, Nas, what you talking about?
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Any, anyway, you there? You got anything you want to say about that?
I mean, no. I mean, it's TMZ, so obviously, like, it's gonna try to create some gossip and things like that. But the last part was just like, um, not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gwyneth. Also, I think like she kind of got this reputation of the J-Shill California girl, and that's why maybe like the stuff that she's saying now are not really taken seriously too. Like it's her reputation a little bit. Not that
Yeah.
she necessarily said anything like racist.
Right, right, right.
Just yeah, like her identity doesn't really match the conversation that she's having.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, jumped into the comments. I've never seen this person. He said, "White people be wildin'." Yakub's creation. That's funny. Some white people be wildin'. Yes, they do. Sometimes they be saying the craziest stuff. Generally, most of the time. And guess who the most wild Yakubians are? Those crazy conservative Republicans who are going to vote for Trump in November because they want democracy to end. Never forget that. I have to say that because there are a lot of people out here on social media who say, "Oh, white folks this, white folks that," and then they say, "I'm going to vote for Trump." Nick, are you crazy? Are you crazy? But this is when people are going to say, "I'm a Democratic shill," as if they don't know I'm a communist. Anyway, back to Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm sorry, Acty, I went off the rails. I promise the
It's
comments won't take over.
it's okay. Well, this is it for the Gwyneth Paltrow's article. I don't know what else you want to say.
I just really want to say, I think in in America and generally in the world, anytime white folks want to talk about racism or blackness, positively or negatively, it's very taboo. And I think that is one of the biggest taboos that need to be broken. It's not taboo for me as a man to speak up for women's rights. It's not taboo for me as a straight person to talk about gay rights or trans rights. But it is still taboo for white folks to say anything positive or promotional for black people. If you're a white person holding up a Black Lives Matter sign, you'll get more attacks from white folks and also some black folks, like just trying to advocate for something. I think what we need to do and normalize is white people being able to talk about race, racism, and everything about it without there being constant attacks from people on both sides, right? Because that's the only way we're going to move forward. If one side always feels like they have to be in the closet or quiet or whispering about something, we're not going to move forward. And so I actually applaud Gwyneth Paltrow for having the bravery and courage to say something that a lot of black folks say all the time. We say we love each other, black and beautiful, black and proud. And I think, if Gwyneth Paltrow wants to take that to the Caucasian community, if she if she wants the white girls to feel the same way, white girl magic, white girls rock. If that's what she wants to bring to her community, that's fine. Like we got enough love to share. I don't know. That's my take on it.
Yeah, no, that is fine. It's just that I think maybe that comes from, like, when, let's say, two white person is talking about racism, and oftentimes they can come to the wrong conclusions, or they can end up making another bad assumption, even though, like, that's not what they intend to do. And but I do agree with you. Like, we've on your channel, we've talked about, like, trans issues and things like that, and we're not trans, but,
Hmm.
like, we're open minded, and we do try to understand, like, trans people in those conversations. So if that's, like, your mindset, then I do think, like, you should discuss these topics, because it is important for us to grow, like, as a society, and get over it. Because
Absolutely.
not get over it, like getting over it, but, solve the issue.
Right. Right.
uh,
Getting over the taboo and being
yeah.
scared to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Also, yeah, but also, like, getting us one step closer to, defeating racism as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I do agree with you on that, but just, like, have your mindset right, and do your research also. Like, if you're white and you're going to be talking about black issues and racism and whatever, like, just do your research. Maybe talk to a black person before you, like, go out and tell it to the whole world. uh and just, like, read and watch and whatever, like, you can, to have some information, and don't just go out there and make assumptions about people.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Dina Lay jumped into the comments. She said, or he said, hi, Dina, whoever you are, welcome to the conversation. You're more than welcome to leave comments. But I want to ask you, you were saying this before we jumped into the live stream, that Gwyneth was probably hanging around a bunch of rich black women, right? So is there, like, also a class thing in this too? Or do you think maybe there's some tone deafness there because of that?
Yeah, a little bit, because, like, yeah, like, maybe she has, like, her Goop friends who are, like, black, and they get all meditate together. They talk about their therapy sessions. They go and get, like, oatmeal and coconut milk lattes, whatever. They get vajacials together, whatever. So, like, yeah, I think it could also be, like, something like a class issue, because, let's face it, rich people are, like, usually have time to have therapy, work on themselves, especially, like, I'm talking about rich people who are in, like, these sorts of self-care industries.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would assume that, like, rich people, black or white, might have, like, the essential things to heal themselves, be more confident in themselves. And, like, the podcast I listen to, Closet Confession, these are, like, the two black ladies from the UK, and they're getting rich, and they're talking about, like, self-love and all of those things. But um yeah, like, I sort of imagine the type of friends that she was friends with, and maybe it's, like, sort of those type of, like, women who now made it, and they can have time to take care of themselves, and they're not ashamed of it, and they
Yeah.
should. So it can be, like, a class issue as well.
Yeah, I think maybe the black women she's hanging around have enough time to philosophize and talk with Gwyneth Paltrow about black love and black empowerment, and she's like, "Yeah, I get it," and all that sort of stuff. So maybe that's a part of it too. But either way, what she said was positive. There's nothing negative there. I would much rather have Gwyneth Paltrow talking about, we need the white girls to have white girl magic and white girls rock, rather than her talking about, racism ain't that bad. Slavery wasn't that bad. All the
Yeah,
other stuff that white folks like to say. I would rather have Gwyneth Paltrow talking this way than, people saying like, if it wasn't for slavery, black folks would still be in Africa, all that sort of stuff. You get what I'm saying? I'd rather
yeah.
have this.
I mean, yeah, I don't think like there's anything wrong with just like with rich, healthy black women, obviously. So yeah, I don't know. Not I've worked hard a little bit.
All right, all right. My connection tripped up a bit, but hopefully it's still good. Anyway, you there? You still
Yeah.
there? Can you hear me?
I,
All right, so I'm gonna read a story right here. It's from PennLive.com, and Terrence Howard, the Empire star, was hit with almost $1 million in a judgment after saying it's immoral to tax descendants of slaves. I just find this totally crazy. Basically, Terrence Howard is saying, "I ain't gotta pay taxes, man. My ancestors built this country, man. You can kiss my yellow ass, man. I ain't paying Uncle Sam nothing."
no, Simon, stop the Terrence Howard impersonation.
I know it's really bad, but I just love Terrence Howard. By the way, he should have won an Oscar for Hustle and Flow, hands down, hands down. Anyway, so it says Academy Award nominated actor Terrence Howard has been ordered by a federal judge to pay nearly $1 million in back taxes, including interest and penalties, after saying that it was immoral for the United States government to charge taxes to descendants of slaves. The judgment comes after the IRS spent a year trying to collect $578,000 in income taxes that Howard, who's 54, by the way, Terrence Howard has a weird aging process. I feel like the brother is older than what he is, but then younger at the same time. But he's got like an old spirit too. And like some movies he looks really old and beaten down, and then other movies he looks young as hell. I don't know how to feel, man.
I think he still looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Anyway, so Terrence Howard, he's 54, has not paid between 2010 and 2019, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. So he did not pay $578,000, and now he has to pay $1 million fine. Our taxes in the US are just out of control. It's absolutely insane how much we have to pay. We're the only country in the world where if you don't live in the US, you have to pay taxes no matter where you are. So if I'm working in Hungary and I get money, I still got to pay taxes to the US government. In every other country in the world, literally, if you're not in that country, you don't have to pay taxes. But the US will charge you no matter where you live if you don't pay your motherfucking taxes. And you can't give up your taxes by not, you can't not pay your taxes by giving up your citizenship either. If you give up your citizenship, you got to pay all your back taxes. And on top of that, you have to pay around $2,000 to give up your U.S. citizenship. So it's America's a company. America's all about the money, and this
And
is
that's
like the clearest
great.
example.
And I definitely do not understand like how your taxes work. It just looks like complicated and just excruciatingly painful.
Yeah, and then on top of that, if there was anybody who didn't pay taxes, Terrence Howard would be the prime suspect. You ask me five celebrities who don't pay taxes, Terrence Howard's name is definitely coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, he just gives that vibe. But maybe that's because of the characters he plays.
Terrence Howard gives me the vibe like he's still worried about a guy he owes $50 to from like
Yeah, still
2002.
owes $50 just out of spite.
Just out of spite. He got the money, man. He just don't want to give it to
Like you
you.
teach him a lesson or something, then that's why.
Exactly, man. Terrence Howard will borrow gold coins from a Turkish grandma and be like, "It's mine now." Anyway, I'm going to continue here. So, the Justice Department sued Terrence Howard in 2022 over the issue, but the actor's only response appears to have been an angry voicemail he left on the phone of the case's lead tax attorney in November. That's crazy.
I'm sorry, but that's ghetto.
That's the hella ghetto. You calling my house phone talking about I owe some money, man? Listen, man. Oh God. So this is what the voicemail said. Hold on. The voicemail said this. 400 years of forced labor and never receiving any compensation for it, the actor said in the message, according to the court transcript. Now you have the gall to try to call and prosecute and charge taxes to the descendants of a broken people that you are responsible for causing the breakage. Now that's hood. That's wild. What do you think of that?
I think he got that from a movie.
I know, right? Is he reading the script? Are they doing Amistad too?
But yeah, I think he has a point. Like, yeah, I think it would be really like just if they didn't let black people pay taxes in America, at least for a good 50 years
Mm,
or 100 years. And also like black actors and rich black people should be included in that, because even if they are rich, they still deal with racism probably. So,
mm.
you know, and their families have dealt with it and things like that. So I think he has a point there, but just the timing is so wrong, and the way that he did is so wrong. The timing, like the government says, "Hey, where's my money?" and then he pulls the black card, and which is fine, but it's just like him being rich, him being famous, and then him only talking about this issue when only he's asked for the money just makes it, questionable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he pulled out his beige black card at the wrong time.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't know about. I think yeah, not paying taxes could be a form of reparations, and I think maybe white folks probably wouldn't even be that mad about it, honestly. Because the thing about reparations is we're fighting for it, but we always have to fight against the white folks who will try to sabotage it or get in the way of us even getting to that point, right? And not paying taxes actually might be a way that we could get one way of getting it done. My belief about reparations is it should be multiple. We should get cash, we should get free college tuition, we should get so many other things like not paying taxes, maybe bonds at birth where a child is born in the US who happens to be black and they're given enough startup money for their life and stuff like that. I think there could be many ways of doing it and they can all be various implemented at the same time, but that could be one way. But the problem is, in this case, like you said, he's a celebrity who's only saying this now because he's in trouble, you know?
yeah, because I don't know, like I don't know him like out of the movies I watched of him, so I don't want to make judgments, but I did not like see his face or his name with any type of like, black campaign that was defending like reparations or I don't know, BLM or something like that. So
Hmm.
I don't know. He just seems like a guy who just like, you know, drinks whiskey,
Smoke cigars,
smokes cigars, and like just hang out
plays
with,
poker.
plays poker, plays golf. Like he doesn't really care about anything, and he's just like chilling. I don't know. That's the type of guy that he looks like, and maybe
Exactly.
him by his looks and characters. Sorry.
Exactly. Terrence, if you're watching this, we love you. My wife and I watched Best Man Holiday, and the Best Man series, and you are hands down the standout like star in this. I want
Yeah.
you to know. And I loved you in Hustle and Flow. I loved you in Crash. I loved you in Iron Man with Gwyneth Paltrow. So Terrence Howard, you a star. You an all star. We love you, man. But
Yeah.
you crazy. You a crazy motherfucker.
Empire too, which
And
is
Empire. She watched Empire. I never watched it. Is it actually good acting? Is Empire
I
good?
did. I watched like 2 seasons.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't watching TV at the time when it was popping, but anyway, Matt Villainy jumped into the comments. He said, "Yeah, that could be reparations by not paying the IRS ever, ever." The ever part is the funny part because I think he heard you say, "Yeah, not for 50 years, not paying 50 years of taxes." He said, "No, nigga, never, ever, ever, ever." I don't know
But
about that. That might be unsustainable because I do think this might be crazy. I don't know if anybody's thought this far, but let's say we get reparations, we're able to change the culture of the world and stuff like that, which I think is possible. Will there be a point where it will be over? And I think yes. I think if we actually got our way, then there would be a time when the reparations conversation would be over, when we can honestly say, there isn't systemic racism, throughout the world. I think it is possible, but
I
we're far from there. Go ahead.
I have a suggestion. I think UK also should tip in. Because they're the kind of ones who started it, right? And some other European nations possibly, but it was like, I think it was like Portugal, and I don't think they're that rich, but I don't know.
No,
But
no, France, the UK, Spain, Portugal, the Dutch, they all owe reparations to so many people across the planet.
yeah, so I think like, some of the countries should also tip in, or at least there could be like a mutual fund where each country gives, like, I don't know, some percentage, and then that is used to like empower Black women in America in terms of like scholarships or free healthcare for the ones who need it and things like that.
Only Black women? Come on now.
No, I said Black people.
Oh, you said Black women.
Well, for women, but no, I said I was thinking about Black people, but
All
maybe
right.
I
Your
slipped.
feminist brain kicked in.
Yep.
Anyway, Terrence Howard sent a second voicemail. He spun the block. He came back. He sent a second one. Oh my God. This is what it said. In a second follow-up voicemail message, Howard said, "In truth, the entire United States should, by default, become the property of the defendant." Nigga.
Oh, that's great.
Yo, he going off. Terrence is going off. Where is the audio? We need the audio.
He's the hero that you need.
The superhero we need, Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
He said, in truth, the entire United States should, by default, become the property of the descendants of slaves. But since you do not have the ability or the courage to do it, let's try this in court. We're going to bring you down. Nigga.
Just all this for taxes?
All this for Texas. He became Martin Luther Malcolm X. He became every Black hero in once. He became Obama Harriet Tubman. Oh my God, on the phone, he turning up. Imagine being like the white guy working at the tax office and you get an angry voicemail from Terrence Howard talking about Black people need to own the
Me?
US. Oh God. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh my God. What do you think about that? Is that a form of reparations if they give us the entire United States?
I mean, I feel like that's just like going a bit too far.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like that could be, but we know that's never gonna happen. So it's sort of silly to even say that.
Yo, this is insane. This is the wildest. This is one of the top
Like
celebrity
they-
stories.
they're still debating on reparations, and he's asking for the whole country.
Give us the whole country, man. Terrence Howard for president. President, you heard me right.
24 elections.
Yes, yes. 2024. Get Biden out of there. We need hustle and flow man in there, man.
I know. I mean, he's very charismatic. I wish.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God. Anyway, let me wrap up this article. There's only like two paragraphs. So Howard, who reportedly lives in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania, never formally responded to the lawsuit, the Inquirer said. Following a court hearing last week in Philadelphia, U.S. District Judge John F. Murphy okayed a basically the judge said a $900,000 default judgment against Howard. So he didn't show up to court. He didn't try to argue against the case. And the
Mhm.
judge said, well, now he owes $900,000. That's crazy.
But
So,
top of the 1 million.
no, no, like the government's suing him for 1 million. And the judge basically said, 900,000 is the
Oh,
order.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, Matt Villainy left a very good comment. He said, should have learned when Wesley Snipes did the same thing. Yeah, if you don't know this actor, Wesley Snipes, the guy we've seen in a bunch of movies, he didn't pay taxes famously, and he went to jail for, I think, 2 years, right? And nobody expected that. And people were saying that was kind of racist because, other people, other celebrities don't pay their taxes. But Wesley, black ass, got 2 years in jail.
But like, why didn't he like pay the fine?
No, well, the thing is, if you don't pay your taxes in the U.S., you'll get a fine, and then on top of that, they will send you to jail. Like that's how serious Uncle Sam takes his money.
I mean, that is racist, though. So she
Yeah.
can pay her taxes.
Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of black celebrities and black artists don't. Well, they get paid in cash, right? Like I read the book of DMX. DMX wrote a book, and he went to jail for the same thing. A lot of people don't remember this. And basically, DMX always got paid in cash. He said, "Hey, yo, dog. Oh, where my bones? Where my bones?" And people would show up with a brown paper bag for whatever DMX got paid to do, like movies, music videos, whatever, right? And so because he got paid in cash, he thought he didn't have to pay taxes. So
I
yeah,
mean, don't these people have enough money to hire a tax person?
it's even worse. Sometimes those tax people and accountants will rob you.
Yeah, well, can't they find someone who's trustable? Like, try for a year and see if they're stealing from you?
Man, Marvin Gaye got shot by his own daddy. Ain't nobody to trust in Hollywood.
Okay, then hire someone to teach you how to do your taxes then. Like, you're rich. Like, get, get some solution to it. I
I
don't know.
mean, I think DJ Khaled has the best idea. He pays for everything. No business manager, accountant. He said he pays for everything, like in his millionaire lifestyle.
What do you mean for everything?
Like he doesn't have an accountant that checks his bank account or a business
Oh,
manager that checks his money. He pays for everything. If he works for the money, he pays it. And I think that's very unique. And I think that's actually very smart.
I mean, yeah, I do think that's smart, but it's, I don't know, a lot of money to handle.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go here. Last part. Last part. Howard earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor for the movie Hustle and Flow. He has had tax troubles for many years, the Inquirer reported. The IRS put a $1.1 million lien on his property in 2010 for not paying taxes in 2007 and 2008. And federal prosecutors opened a criminal investigation into him and his wife, Mira Pack, in 2019 for tax evasion. Oh, his wife is Asian, I remember. Okay. All right, I remember that. Anyway, that's the Terrence Howard story. Not paying taxes as a form of reparations is cool. I don't think we want the whole country that pressure because if black people owned America, then the rest of the world will then hate black people. You get what I'm saying?
Well, uh, I mean, that is kind of crazy. Maybe you could have something like there's we'll only have black presidents and black people all in the justice system and like all the important positions for 100 years or something like that, and
Good
then that
idea.
will have like a say in all the other stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Good
So
idea. Good idea.
do that instead of just owning the whole country, because I don't think the country is for sale.
Yeah. Something like
I don't
that. I mean, we.
think countries can be sold. Like a country like United States, I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we'll wrap it up here. This was like our first episode of Celebrities Say the Darndest Things. And we'll probably do more episodes like this of celebrities saying wild stuff and we just break it down. Is that cool?
Sure, it's fun.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for jumping into this short one. This was with Mad Villainy, Dina Lay, and OK. Shout out to everybody who left a comment or who will watch this later. Stay tuned for more movie reviews. Wild Pear Tree is up on X. Watch that. It's coming up on the channel soon. Peace.